everybody. Welcome to another episode of For the Love of Details. Back with another Monday. I hope you guys had a great Easter weekend and have had a great day. I will be back to work tomorrow, so I am literally enjoying this last day of rest. I am not going to waste any time tonight, you guys. I am just going to get into it and bring on a guest that I highly respect, especially when it comes to talking about interiors. I was just talking to her backstage. I had a nasty detail a couple weekends ago, and I almost called her if we weren't 3 hours apart to get her advice. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Chelsea from Attention to Details. Hi.
Hi guys. I have no idea. I can't see any of the statistics, like who's watching or any questions. So you're gonna have to
Oh, no,
keep me clued in if
absolutely.
there's any questions or anything that you guys have.
Absolutely. And as I see questions, you guys, I do have it kind of built into the end of the podcast to do a little Q&A. So as I see the questions, I will definitely star them and get into it for you. So Chelsea, let's get into it. Again, I know you are 3 hours different. So thank you so much for taking your time and agreeing to come on live, because I know that it's late and I know school starts, right. Kids have school tomorrow and whatnot. So I will definitely respect your time, but let's get into it. So Chelsea, Queen of Interiors, as my thumbnail
That was her, not me, y'all.
suggested, but
I
it's
do not
true.
claim that.
So I just have to ask, what got you loving interiors? And I know I mentioned that backstage and you were like, do I love them? But I feel like interiors
Love
is
hate.
kind of your thing. What got you into really enjoying an interior clean? Because I hate them. So maybe I can I can learn to love them with you.
I mean, clearly the before and after, the transformation, it's like a drug. It keeps us all kind of going.
Mhm.
And there are definitely some challenging ones that I do like a good challenge. Sometimes when a vehicle comes in and it needs just like a little vacuum, I'm like, blah, blah, like this is disappointing. And then there's those few that there's swear words coming out of my mouth as soon as I open the door and I'm going, frick me, what did I just get myself into? And sometimes like those ones can be the most satisfying when you step back and you're like, pardon my language, but damn, I did that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Um, and that's, I think, the drug effect or the dopamine that we get from it. But I actually started off, and I've shared this numerous times on my channel or maybe in different podcasts, but when I was in college, I did housekeeping for as like a student worker. And it was an easy way to make a dollar. Started off just kind of cleaning toilets, scrubbing floors, and then my bosses noticed that I had a knack for it. I wasn't afraid to work hard and sweat. And they gave me promotions with more responsibility. So then I got to polish floors and then I got to work with some of the machinery. And that was always really fun for me. And I think that is what tiptoed me into detailing. When I graduated from college, I continued on as a student worker, again, continued to get promotions, eventually was supervising all the housekeepers. And then eventually I was the physical plant admin assistant at Lancaster Bible College. Simultaneously, like that was a full-time job. And then my other full-time job was training, supervising, and overseeing all the facilities on campus as far as cleaning. So I had to work with all the chemical providers. I had to learn about the chemicals that we were using in all of the buildings, and all the different companies would come and give me their sales pitches. So you would just absorb, and you're learning about green friendly products that you can drink, and I wouldn't necessarily do that, but it was kind of cool. And then
Yeah.
you're learning about alkalines and tannins and upholstery machines and all of this different stuff because they would pitch it to me and I would do my research. And so I didn't come into detailing ignorant. I came in with, I think, even more of than a base knowledge of chemicals, and that I think was to my benefit to be able to. A lot of people, we start off washing cars, vacuuming cars, but we kind of tiptoe into interiors, and a lot of people tap out because they don't. It's intimidating. They don't know how to do it. You can see videos where people are straight up foam cannoning the inside of a car, and we know don't do that.
Yeah.
But anything prior to that, we're like, how do we do it? There's not a lot of, and it is hard to get the angle on an interior to kind of show what's being done. It's super easy to set it up and give you a broad shot of washing a car. But when I got my butt and arm kind of in the way and I'm blocking the shot because I actually have to do the job. So I think, interiors are just hard to showcase, to teach. Now we have meta glasses that I can kind of show you my point of view as long as my bangs are out of the way. Um, and I think for me that's the fun part for me where I'm at now is I'm able to actually show you guys a little bit more of how I handle interiors. But yeah, as far as the chemical side of it, I think that's what a lot of people they just, we understand alkalines on the exterior,
Mhm.
acids, how we deal with mineral
Yeah.
spots. It's
Yeah.
very similar. It's just different fabric, different surfaces, and a little bit of different stains, but it's the same. A lot of detailing is understanding pH scale and how to kind of neutralize that surface. Once
Yeah.
you get past that, it takes some of the fear and the unknown out of it. Then it comes down to finding the right chemicals that treat those surfaces. Once you've figured that out, it opens everything up for you.
Yeah. And I know there's been such a debate over extractors, non-extractors, introducing liquid, not introducing, introducing liquid and things of that sort. And I've always been one, to be honest with you, to think like, oh, you really can just do it with a brush, a microfiber, and some chemical. But a couple of weekends ago was the first time I thought to myself, you know what? An extractor is probably exactly what I need right now. So it's again, I'm not sure. I know you are a full on extractor, but let's talk about, when you dialed in interiors, your early struggles versus now. What were some things that you struggled with early on? Because that might resonate with, other people in terms of what they're dealing with.
Mhm.
Trying to dial in an interior. I definitely want to hear about this as I'm trying to get better at dialing in interiors versus what you're doing now.
I mean, when I first started detailing cars, I was using a residential Bissell, like upright residential carpet extractor with the hose, very weak suction. So again, you're going to struggle with lift. And that's where we are able to pull the water out. Heavy output of water, but you need to be able to pull out as much water as you're putting down to kind of avoid mold, mildew, and musty odors. So I immediately got, I think it was the Rug Doctor Junior red thing. It worked okay. Big bulky head. Had to kind of lift it to get water all the way to the end, and the hose was about this long. So you
And that was
constantly had
made
to,
for an
yep.
interior. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, it's made for spot cleaning. And that's
Okay.
where, it was kind of the thing before the Bissell spot clean came
Okay.
into kind of the
Okay.
big thing. So I would say it's an equivalent to the Bissell spot clean. And I see a lot of detailers online using something like that and it works. But again, you're getting a lot of water sprayed out. You don't have water sprayed all the way to the head. So you kind of got to do a little magic hover thing to get water to the front. And then it comes down to lift, being able to pull out the dirt and the water. So for me, I struggled with all those things, short hoses, not being able to get around the vehicle very comfortably, limited tank capacities, maybe this much water. So you're
Oh,
constantly
that would
stopping
be
and
beautiful.
starting.
Yeah.
And so eventually I just kept kind of saving and upgrading, realizing the shortcomings and the issues that I was having with those devices. They got the job done, but it was just taking way too long to get the results. So then I found Aqua Pro Vac. And I even had a Mighty Light because I saw everyone. I'm a pro. I use a Mighty Light heated. It's 80/70. Spent $1,200 on that thing, and I used it. I used it several times, but in comparing that to the Aqua Pro Vac is plastic parts, but that's how they can keep the price lower. When we get into stainless steel and brass connections and all that, that's where the price goes up. So yes, there is a little bit of a tenderness. I was talking to Eddie maybe a week or two ago, and he's like, "Yeah, my head." He's like, "It keeps cracking and breaking on me." I'm like, "What the heck are you doing to that thing?" Like, I've never actually like broken the head. You do want to be. I'm not saying fragile, but you don't want to be
Yeah.
like slamming it into anything. But the thing that I like about the Aqua Pro Vac versus the Mighty Light, I can afford to fix anything that needs to be repaired on it. I've had to replace the head, maybe a water line here or there. Very affordable. I don't have to send it out for replacement. I can do the work myself, and I'm not mechanical at all. But as far as extracting versus bonnet cleaning, I think once I found the right extractor for me that was comfortable to use, 3 gallons, I was able to, an average condition vehicle. I didn't have to constantly empty and fill it up, good size tank, really nice suction and lift, very comfortable trigger to work with, water all the way to the front of the head, clear head. For me, that's where I was able to kind of really see I could get quick results with this. You don't have to put down a ton of water when you're extracting. Oftentimes, based on the level of soiling, that's going to determine the approach that you go. So let's say, for instance, light colored interiors. Automatically, that's going to put me in a situation where I'm probably going to either extract if we have heavy soiling, and if it's light, really I need to examine what kind of stains, because when we have light colored interiors, we're going to have the higher risk of wicking. So if I see maybe some brown stains from coffee spills or tannin or things like that, if I extract, I know I've got to extract until I get all of that, or else I'm going to have that reappearing brown stain
Yeah,
that's just like,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
So that's where you could bonnet clean if it's not too bad, because you don't want to deal with wicking. But if it's heavy stains like body oils, like black gnarly ripples all over it, I'm going to extract, because if I put a cleaner into a light colored material that has a lot of dirt, and I spray that cleaner, it's going to take that dirt and push it out. I call it a clean ripple. It just basically is just making a bigger clean ripple. I could clean that spot, but now I got to remove all the remaining residue
outside.
and the soiling. So for me, extracting is just the best way to quickly clean it and have a consistent clean surface. Plus, then, bonnet cleaning runs the risk where if we don't remove all the soils, and there was a heavy amount of soils, let's say they open the door in the rain, or their kid has they go to the pool, they get in a little wet, they sit down, that water is just going to basically make all those old soils reappear, and then it's going to look like crap.
Yeah,
When we extract and flush all of that out, if we spill water, and I've removed as much of the dirt as I can with reason, I'm not going to have that old dirt reappearing as much. Whereas if I'm working on a darker colored interior, we have way more options.
yeah,
Um, Honestly, when I have darker colored interiors, I might extract, but I don't have to go as heavy. Sometimes you can see the difference between dirt on black interiors. Like you'll see brown, maybe it's like just a hinge, or maybe it's kind of faded and dull from body oils. So after you extract, you can see it's kind of like when we polish black paint, it just looks darker, nicer, crisper. But you don't have to go as heavy. You can bonnet clean on black seats with less risk of the old stains reappearing. So that's just where experience is going to come in handy, where you understand in what scenario do I do bonnet cleaning versus extracting? But typically, the level of soiling is going to immediately determine what approach. If it's light, bonnet cleaning is definitely on the table. If it's heavy, I'm probably just going to extract. If it's a light colored interior, we still might extract even if it's light soiling, just
yeah.
because I don't want to deal with all of the old stains reappearing. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. Now, what about in terms of time? And like, I'm not sure when you get your vehicles, when you're doing details, the time frame, if they're overnight, if you have a few hours, but obviously then I would be worried about when you're extracting those seats being dry when the customer comes to pick up the car. So does that, determine whether or not you're going to extract as well, I would guess, or do you use fans, or what are you doing in that scenario?
So I use right here. I'm gonna pull it out. So these are dry pod blowers,
Okay.
and they were out of stock for the longest time, but they're back in stock. They even sell these on Bonnet Pro site. You can get them off of Amazon. They're not necessarily the cheapest, but you can plug in another unit right here. I put one on the front seat, one on the back seat. In about 30 minutes, everything can be fully dry.
Okay, 30
Yeah.
minutes.
About 30 minutes. If it's cold and it's humid, that might add a little bit of time, but you can always pull the vehicle outside,
Yeah,
crank the heat, close the doors, get those blower going, use heat and all of that stuff to dry it out. You're just dealing with some condensation on the glass that you got to deal with. I try not to release it until it's dry for the customer.
yeah,
And normally with those blowers, I'm not having to hold it any extra time. In fact, I will budget my time. I normally always vacuum first, even if I'm doing the exterior, because if I'm doing door jams, I don't want mud and, all the dirt around the carpets and stuff to kind of reactivate. So I'll vacuum, do the exterior if we're doing the exterior. Then I will extract, give that as much time as possible. Then if I'm doing paint correction, ceramic coating, all those things, I'm doing that. And then plastics, glass always last. So I normally am allotting all that time properly to give me that dry time that I
yeah.
need.
What is the cost? Can you think off the top of your head for one of those dry pods?
I wanna think it's 199 for one.
Oh, okay. So worth it, I'm sure. But yeah, a little
It's
pricey.
paid for itself tenfold. I
Yeah,
mean, I've had this one for 3 years. For me to not have to hold it, longer, and then I don't have to deal with the other benefit with having a fan is if there is wicking, you want to try to get those seats as dry as quickly as possible. That will accelerate wicking and kind of allow you to treat wicking before you release it. Because God forbid it's kind of damp when the customer comes to pick it up and it fully dries. And then as things fully dry at home, that wicking reappears and then I can't treat it. So
yeah,
by getting the blower, get it dry. If there is wicking, then I can pull out my spot stop, spray that on, it's done, and I don't have to deal with that for the customer future.
yeah. We have a couple people saying 149 on Amazon, or 120 on
It
Amazon.
might have gone down. I think I paid
Yeah.
199 for it, so buy it if it's that price.
Yes. I mean, definitely, 120 to
They were out of
149.
stock for like 2 years because they were so popular. They just came back in this summer, so yeah, definitely if they're that price, take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, guys, keep dropping your questions. I am starring them. I will get to them, I promise. Let's talk about another thing that I think is a huge issue, and then we will get to Bonnet Pro because I know you just visited Bonnet Pro.
Mhm.
Um, and I watched a little bit. Sorry, I've been pressed for time these last couple of weeks, but I did watch a
You didn't
few.
have 2 hours to watch the world's longest podcast ever.
But I
I was
watched
like, "Oh
a
my
little
god."
bit. It was interesting. So I definitely want to talk about Bonnet Pro. So let's start talking about choosing the right chemicals because
Mm,
obviously that might be a great segue into your visit with Bonnet Pro and what
yeah,
you learned with them. But I think this is my, biggest hang up here. Again, I'm not a pro, especially when it comes to interiors. And I know least aggressive, always best. And I think you
not
start
always.
not
It's
always
not
okay.
paint. We don't have to like, it's not. I will say this, like, there are things that you can screw up on the interior. When we've got sodium hydrochloride and chemical burns on plastics, and a lot of the plastics that we work, or the interior plastics that we work on, have a plastic coating on top of them that you spray that on there, in seconds it can burn it. Even steam can cause that. I've had it happen before where I was working with a chemical and hit it with steam. And when you combine the chemical with the heat from the steam, what little overspray I had from that burned the plastics on the dash and things like that, that I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
So I don't use steam that much. I only use steam on carpets or materials where I have like heavy grease, tar, things like that that I need to break down, or maybe like something sticky. I have shied away unless it's like a true on disaster detail. Plastics have been spray painted by the dealership, which I've had that. Steam I might use in that situation. All altogether, I try to avoid it because I've seen it do some damage.
okay.
But as far as chemicals, you don't necessarily have to, it doesn't have to be least aggressive moving forward sometimes, because then you just waste a lot of time stepping it up or getting weak results. There are a lot of scenarios like rinseless wash, great for interiors for mild cleaning, basic maintenances. Can use it practically on every surface from glass, plastics, fabrics. But that's not going to cut it when we've got a lot of soiling and body oils and things like that on leather, things like that. You're going to spend way too much time, and then you're going to have to be using a tool or microfiber or something that's, going to be going after it. Um, but as far as chemicals on the interior, I mean, there's a lot of different routes. There's a lot of different ways that you could go. I do try to avoid APCs on the interior because those are typically going to be higher on your like sodium hydroxide risk of chemical burns. Some of the ones that I've been enjoying most recently probably would be like PNS Express Interior, Yum Interior, Phoenix EOD Typhon probably is my number one though, because it cleans most surfaces really well. I find it's not super caustic as far as lungs and surfaces. Actually smells really great, but when you throw in a BioBomb Mini, like literally the best cleaning smell. It smells ever so slight like an indoor pool, but it just leaves it smelling so clean. Every customer that gets that treatment, they're just like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. I don't get a lot of customers that want like artificial, scents or things like that, but they love that. But I really, I have found certain ones that work really well for me. And those are probably my top three that are my go tos for just like cutting through stuff. You can also use something like Superior Products Pink Perfection. Certain situations like crappy cars, we're talking like hammered, and I need a lot of chemical, that's where I might use like a Pink Perfection because it's way more affordable. Soap-based APC, even using it in the sun on hot plastics, doesn't stain it, actually gives it a little bit of like a satin look. There's certain ones that are maybe more cost effective that on really bad interiors, I might pull them out because I'm going through more chemical.
Yeah.
But let's say I just want a really good experience, Yum Interior. It works so freaking good. But I
Yeah.
know it might not be the most cost effective.
Yeah. I I think this again, the last detail I did Yum, I did Sword. I really love Sword and I really loved
I
Typhon.
wish
And
Sword smelled better. I don't like the
oh,
smell of Sword.
really? So have you
Yeah.
me too? Have you
What's that? I
have you
haven't
tried
tried
V2?
V2. For me, I'm very scent driven,
Yeah.
and Sword cleans well. It
Yeah.
cleans well. I just didn't care for the scent of it.
Well,
Actually, it doesn't have much of a scent, so that's why
but
I was just
so
like,
many
eh.
people have said that. Well, I shouldn't say so many people. That was not a true statement.
Throw
I
in a citrus scent or something, I'm all over it.
I
But
don't
like, it's just, mm,
I don't mind it. Yeah, I was gonna say Sword really doesn't have a smell to me, and I've heard people
yeah.
say they don't like the smell, and I'm always like, "But what are you smelling?" Because I don't
I want a
smell
smell on
anything.
the interior though. That's
Oh,
why, like, even PNS Express, I don't care for the smell of it. It works decently. I would
yeah,
probably put those two in the caliber, like, of my ones. And Pink Perfection, even like Yum Interior, Typhon, they're probably my favorite as far as scents. And then we could probably throw in their Shine Supply Cruise, which is their like matte interior detail. That smells like
yeah,
cologne.
yeah,
um, but it's not a heavy cleaner. But I mean, there's certain ones that like if I've got a bad interior and I want to freshen it, I want it to smell better. I'm gonna lean more towards my cleaners that smell more.
yeah. Somebody mentioned here Clean Tool, which Chris Clean Tool. Have you tried Clean Tool? Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
did. Duh.
I did a
That
video.
was on our Battle of the Brands. Hello,
I
and it actually,
won.
yeah, you did.
I won.
Hello. How can I forget? There's
But
Clean
I
Tool.
didn't really like the smell that much, too much. I mean, they
Okay.
had one that their carpet cleaner, it was like a fresh laundry scent. It was stronger, but I don't know. I There's just certain ones I sway more towards. We all
Yeah,
have our preferences.
yeah. Now, you, I believe, also have tried like the Flex and the Flex Ice and thing,
Hmm.
right? But you just visited Bonnet Pro. So let's talk
Hmm.
about Bonnet Pro and the difference between Flex and Flex Ice because I feel like those products, and again, I don't know, I might not know what I'm talking about, so correct me, but I feel like those are comparable products. Would you say that's true or not?
Slightly,
Okay.
slightly. Bonnet Pro is actually a little bit more affordable.
Okay.
Smells better. I mean, I wouldn't say that Flex smells bad. Flex Ice, I wouldn't say is like a really good scent. Normally, I'm like out of my nose, but The BioBreak has a slight citrus scent, but it is more of a chemical-y smell. That was actually one of the things with when I was with John. I put my nose right up to the carpet, and he's like, "Don't do that." He's like, "It gives a like a gassing off," and he's like, "I've actually had," and also you could be like breathing in like mold spores and like all
Mm,
those things. He's like, "I've had some customers like in the hospital because they did that," and I was like, "Oh, good to know." So I'm like gonna smell it out of the chemical versus like I'm gonna smell the upholstery.
yeah.
Um, but anyways, it just smelled literally just of like a fresh citrus candle scent
Okay.
from Red Lava. Their Omega Citrus, their Rocket Revive It, they have more, definitely more of a citrus scent, but also their Pro Fresh scent, which is I actually have it right here. I've not even smelt their Pro Fresh, so I don't even know popping it. I can't even just like it's definitely a stronger like fresh laundry scent.
Okay. And this is, I'm
So
sorry, this is Bonnet Pro?
yeah, the one this is like a deodorizer that he sent home with me. But a
Okay.
lot of their products have their Pro Fresh technology within it. So it just has like a nice citrus fresh laundry scent. But they definitely can linger a little bit longer. I've noticed with the Flex products, scent doesn't linger very long. You know, once it dries, it's kind of
Yeah.
dissipated. Whereas with the Bonnet Pro products, they can linger for like a day or so. So at least when the customer's getting in it, a lot of my customers do comment that it just smells so clean on the inside after extracting. Omega
Okay.
Citrus is definitely going to lean more on that scent than Rocket Revive It.
Okay.
Um, and Nanomax cleans just as well, but it has no scent.
So, and again, forgive me if
I'm all over
Bonnet.
the place. It's fine.
Yeah, I am too. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to take this all in because I mean, I really am
Squirrel.
interested in, and I'm about to go down a rabbit hole. And somebody made the comment to me, like, "Do I really need to go down another rabbit hole and fill
Yes,
my
yes,
glass
you do.
anymore?"
If you want to
I
become
don't
better at
know.
interiors.
But Bonnet Pro. So, are these chemicals only meant to be used with an extractor?
No, they're actually
Okay.
designed for bonnet cleaning.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
most of
Where I'm
them
not
are end
confused.
cap.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
when we have an end cap solution, technically that's going to be ideal for bonnet cleaning. So
Okay.
that's, for detailing purposes, that's where we're taking a UFO pad from auto fiber on a polisher. We're doing headliners, we're doing seats, um, but it can also be used for cold and hot water extraction.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was one of the things that John remarked in the video because I said, if these are end cap solutions and we're extracting, and I'm like fully extracting, are we not really going to benefit? Because a lot of their products have what's called AFT technology, active film technology.
Okay.
So most end caps, what they're going to do is, if we're bonnet cleaning, clearly we're putting a little bit of cleaner on our fresh pad, cleaner on your dirty carpet. You're going to be going over that with your bonnet and it's going to transfer the dirt from your carpet to your bonnet. That's essentially what we're doing. But
Okay.
we are also leaving behind some of that end cap solution. And his products specifically are designed to help slow down resoiling. Because when we have residue acts like glue. That's why when we extract, we want to remove as much of that residue as possible. So that way, if the customer gets in with muddy shoes, it doesn't get super dirty really quick because we've left all that residue down. When we extract, we remove it. So I said, if we're wanting to leave behind this AFT that helps reduce resoiling, but we're extracting it away, have I kind of taken away the benefits of it? And he said, no, because you're kind of back to zero. You've not
Hmm.
hurted any, but you've not necessarily benefited. He said, so you don't necessarily have to extract until you remove all the residue, like a lot of other chemicals, because then you will benefit from that AFT technology that will help reduce resoiling.
Okay. How do you avoid overwetting carpets? Because I feel like that is my problem.
You have a
How
good
do you-
extractor.
Okay.
Because you
Even
should
when
have
you're not
something that is
extracting.
able to suck out as much water that you're pulling in.
What about
When
when you're
I
not
have,
extracting? No, that's what I mean.
um,
I think for me, it's like if I don't see something happening right away, a result that I can see initially, then I just want to keep spraying and spraying and spraying.
so
And that's my biggest issue is the overwhelm.
technically, you should be seeing the soiling lifting during your drill brush step. So I
Okay.
always tell people in videos, when I spray my chemical and I agitate it with my drill brush, that is in a way a form of bonnet cleaning. You should see the soil brighten and lift just with the drill brush alone. If you're still seeing heavy soiling, then your chemical's probably not going to
Not
lift it.
strong enough.
And then
Okay.
at that point, then extracting, I'm just pulling out what I've already kind of broken up with my detergent. So yeah, I mean, if you're not extracting and you're, just kind of spot cleaning, that's where, spray a chemical, agitate with your drill brush, go over with your microfiber. But you really, I mean, I don't know how much cleaner you're putting down unless the cleaner's not working and you're having to continue to go to town. It may be that you're just not using a strong enough cleaner.
Yeah. And
Like,
I
what are
think,
some of the cleaners that you typically use?
well, to be honest, I first started with Polestar. I've used Sword. I've definitely used Rinseless. I got onto a Typhon kick because I do really like Typhon. Typhon for
Yeah.
me has always been the one that kind of like go to if
Mhm.
nothing's working, then I'm going to go to Typhon. I've
Are we
used.
talking fabrics or plastics?
I'm talking fabrics. I'm talking.
Okay.
I'm talking upholstery,
Yeah.
carpet. Um, what is it? Labos. Was it Glico and Ductile? If I'm even saying that correctly.
They
And
work okay.
yeah,
I found that they are limited. I know that Reggie did his video and he was saying how what is it? Glico is going to leave the fibers super fluffy and all that stuff. I
yeah.
found they cleaned okay. Try Bonnet Pro, I guarantee you. And this isn't a sales pitch. This isn't sponsored. I get nothing out of this. I do a coupon code. I do an affiliate link on my channel if any of you guys want to save 10%. And I told Christy that Bonnet Pro actually, we've been doing all this content together. And I've talked to John for years about how his products are so good at detailing that he's actually made a separate brand, same products, but a separate brand called Liquid Highway. I'm going to send her the link and the coupon code if you want to share it in this video or put it in the comment section.
Okay.
That John has put all of the products that he would recommend from Bonnet Pro for auto
Okay.
detailing in one portal to kind of
Okay.
simplify it for you guys. And it also has a lot of the videos that we made. Um, but I think honestly, if you're struggling with interiors, it's because you're not using the right chemicals. It
Yeah.
really is not hard. Everyone's like, "You're so good." I'm like, "I'm really not. I just found the right products. I didn't mess around. Like, we go to all these blenders for products, and how many of them really focus on the exterior? And the interior, I don't feel like I've seen any auto detailing company really shine on interiors. Maybe
Yeah.
leather, you've got your
Yeah.
Geist that's really good on leather. Maybe certain, ones interior ceramics. If you're wanting in like carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning chemicals, go to a upholstery and carpet cleaning
Yeah.
like company. Like, what, this isn't rocket science,
Yeah.
you know?
I hear.
That's where I just kind of took out the guesswork. I wasn't trying to make, a square peg fit in a circle.
Yeah, that makes sense. And by the way, I know Eddie posted it, and I think you posted it. But Aqua Provac right now is doing another giveaway. It's like 1,000 or I don't know, $1,000
They're
packet.
they're giving away an extractor and the Aqua Pro steamer.
There you go.
Um, on my YouTube channel, I have a link that you can go to enter for a chance to win. It's expires on the 12th.
Yeah,
So it's over $1,000 for you guys to be able to win the extractor and steamer that I use.
yeah.
So combine
So
that with Bonnet Pro, you could be
you're
just
good.
as
Yes.
I'm really nothing special, guys. I just use products that work really well.
Yeah. And I think for me, and I will be very honest and transparent here. I don't think it's just the products. I also think it's my technique. I am not skilled enough yet, I think, with interiors to kind of know or to kind of gauge where I need to go and when with certain fabrics, with certain stains and things of that sort. I think that's something that you learn over time.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm very interested in learning that over time, which is why this is very interesting. Before I forget, you guys, and I know you see it at the bottom of the screen, But please understand and know that right now on Thor until I want to say April 10th, I hope that is correct. Detail code 25% off, 20% off your Quiver Clean by Pan and Tells, and 15% off everything else. So nice spring sale and their spring clearance up to 80% off. So please go check out thehouseofrags.com for some great deals. All right, Chelsea, I have starred 17 questions. We're about 35 minutes through, so I feel like now's the
You
time
do
to
not need to
go.
rush. My kids are tucked in bed. I
Okay.
am here.
Okay.
We will get through them.
Okay. Like I said, I wanted to respect your time. So
You're fine. You're
okay,
fine.
good. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. One of them you kind of already answered, so I'll put that one up first just so you can kind of reiterate. This is from Conway asking about the fact that he notices you don't use a steamer much and what do you like or not like, and you kind of touched on that if you want to just kind of
Yeah.
reiterate.
I see a lot of detailers using Steam for every detail, and that's totally fine. But when you take a higher pH chemical and you increase its power with hot water, you run the risk of damage. So that to me sometimes is a concern if you're using a stronger cleaner and just punching up that power. I've seen it happen on interiors, especially like where we have the gear shift, that kind of compartment. A lot of people will blow stuff out, let alone the fact that we've got moisture in electronics. I've had nightmares where I had a customer say that I damaged his parking brake
Mhm.
button because I got water into his electronics. Mind you, I had before and after pictures that showed like he had spilled soup down that, so was able to get out of it thankfully.
Yeah.
But
Thank God for
um,
pictures, right?
yeah, it definitely caused me to be very careful with spraying anything, around electronics, moisture, water, things like that. But also, when you think about steamers, it is injection. We're not extracting. So if we're doing seats, and I see a lot of people they will spray the chemical, drill brush, they'll get one of those triangular heads, they'll go to town, and then they just kind of go over it with a microfiber. They've pushed that dirt and the chemical into the fabric. They've not necessarily lifted. Now, it can do a great job at breaking things down. I would
Yeah.
still follow up somehow with extracting. But even on leather, you can damage the leather, you can burn it. For me, I can clean just as effectively with a chemical and a detailing brush or a scrub ninja and not run the risk of burning plastics, damaging because of the chemical, pH scale just exploding, and then electronics and things like that. So I do use it in certain situations, but there's caution. I have myself had some situations where it was close, or like fortunately it was like one or two little specks customer didn't notice, but
Yeah.
it was enough to say, I don't want this to become a bigger problem or another problem. So yeah, Steam has its place. I do like it for carpets. I think it's great for carpets. We have tar. But even if you're taking like the injection nozzle, if we're going straight like this, the one that's just a straight shot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're going over something, you can actually scorch the fabrics. And sometimes when you go to extract, you're still going to see those lines in the
Yeah.
carpet. So yeah, it's just, you just got to use common sense with them. And I'm doing a YouTube channel that is primarily for enthusiasts and beginners. I know that that's a majority of the people who follow me.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to just put something out there that they're going to go and be like, oh, I totally screwed up because, I did it once in a video and they said that it's fine. So
Yeah.
I at least try to give them the safest practices possible.
Yeah. I love that. And I think, when I first started detailing, and for me, I think YouTube kind of has a lot to do. When you go to YouTube college and you see, people on TikTok and Instagram using steamers, and, you kind of think that's the thing to do. I know I bought a steamer right away. I mean, a cheap one from Harbor Freight. And then I realized that I didn't really need it as much as I thought I did.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. I have a steamer. I don't use it often.
Yeah,
Um,
we see the people like steam cleaning air vents. That does nothing but show cool. Like that does no good. You're actually putting moisture
yeah, into,
into their vents.
yep,
So now
yep.
you've increased the risk of mold and mildew, but you look really cool on
Yeah,
TikTok.
on TikTok.
Like, oh, dramatic effect. And I've done it too myself. I've
Yeah,
done it,
yeah,
but I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah,
I just put moisture in their cabin filter. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Note to self, don't do that again.
Okay. Conway is also asking, what are the 4 to 5 top products you really recommend for interior cleaning? If you could choose 4 to 5, what would they be?
For carpets, Omega Citrus. Um, for plastics, Typhon Biobomb Minis. That's gonna get most of your plastics. For glass, really any rinseless wash works great. Really been enjoying, I think it's called Maverick from Chemex, their glass cleaner.
Okay.
Super strong alcohol, like it could combust. It's a little pricey, but it actually works really well. I gotta talk to Bob about that one. I feel like if I were to like blow it out of my mouth, it would just like ignite the match. It's super strong, but it
Yeah.
works really well. And I glass cleaner is like my nemesis. I did try Traceless out this past weekend, and I really enjoyed it. Paleus is another really good one for glass. I'm still on the hunt for like the best glass cleaner. Um, I've spent $15 for a bottle of glass cleaner, which I'm like,
Mm,
really? Like, really? When a rinseless wash can work. But I think honestly, Omega Citrus, Typhon, uh, Traceless, some really good glass cleaner, rinseless wash. I'm trying to think if I had to pick another one. That's really hard to nail it down. Um, I might say Pink Perfection just because of the cost. You can dilute it like 1 to 5. So
yeah. Wes just mentioned Natito, which is Labo. I was going to mention that one in Yum. And have you tried Luminous Shine? Those 3 I am really enjoying, but Natito's great. I don't know if
Shine
you've tried
streaked a
that one.
little bit too much on me.
Oh,
Like
did
I
it?
was super,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I
the
mean, I'm working
the
outdoors
environment.
a lot
Yeah.
though. So
Huh.
yeah, I mean, it's just one. I've even tried like Avant-Garde has their glass cleaner, which it's one of those products that hazes on you and then you can wipe it off.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. But for me, I'm just struggling with paying that much for any glass cleaner.
Yeah.
When a rinseless wash with a little, maybe with distilled water.
Yeah.
Distilled water is actually surprisingly amazing on
Yeah.
glass. A
Well, I was
lot of
going to
time,
say,
the streaks are from your dirty towels or residue from your cleaner. So if we're
yeah.
eliminating residue with
Yeah.
distilled water, like,
Yeah. Well, isn't it Josh, I think, that uses water? I think he's talked about that several
mhm,
times on his channel where he
but it's
just,
distilled water.
yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Okay. Chelsea, where are we here? Have you used the mini bonnet system from Bonnet Pro? Your opinion?
I have not. They are a little pricey. I want to think that his mini bonnets were like over $100 when I looked on their site.
Mm,
I could be wrong.
yeah.
But to me, the UFO pads from Auto Fiber are way more affordable and just as effective. John's looked way more professional, way more durable, but also, I mean, like his drill brush was like the size of my face.
Huge.
And his bonnet was legit like he makes his bonnets. Like he makes the machines in his shop.
Oh,
So they are legit professional grade. They're gonna hold up for years. For me, I'm laundering them. I don't do that much bonnet cleaning. So I think the UFO pads are perfect for detailing for what we do. We're
yeah.
not putting down that much moisture and doing like 1,000 square foot where we need a bonnet pad that's like super thick loop and things like that.
Yeah.
We're doing headliners that are a delicate material, things like that.
Yeah. This question actually kind of goes with what you just were talking about on a recent video. Did you find it challenging to keep the interior cleaning within the package level
Mhm.
and not go overboard on each one? And you just put out an interesting video
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed because your customer only had a $200 budget, but that interior clean needed much more than that price. And you
Yeah.
kind of talked about handling that. So what do you do when you find it challenging to do a leveled package and not go overboard when you want to give it, right? You want to put your mark on it. You want to leave
Yeah.
it pristine. What do you do?
Um, I mean, those are really hard ones for me because I feel like I give more of myself in those details than sometimes the disaster ones because I'm having to control myself. I'm having to hold back. And that's not in my caliber. Like, we're detailers. We literally, our goal is like as near as new as
Yeah,
possible.
absolutely.
And when a customer doesn't see dirt, doesn't want to pay for all of that being gone, there were a lot of people in the comments on that video that were like, you should just clean the car and like you did a good deed. And I'm like, that's fine, but that's
Yeah,
not a good business model.
yeah,
Like, you don't go to a surgeon and say, like, and I use the illustration, you don't go to a mechanic and say, I need a timing belt changed, but I only have money for an oil change and figure it out. They don't,
yeah,
um, they're going to say find another detail, another mechanic.
yeah,
So for me, it really does come back to communicating with the customer, really explaining the situation, what the vehicle needs, and in a way kind of explaining my worth, what I'm capable of. And this one did not want to budge most of the time. I don't know why. I'm really good at upselling. And like, I'll explain to the customer this is what we need, and they're like, oh, okay, like we'll pay it. They have no problem. This one was just like, no, 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 no. And she's done this in the past to me. She had a
yeah,
really hammered Tesla in the past that I did a video on, and it was trashed on the inside, and she kind of did it. So now I was like, I don't want to do this customer's car in the future. So, um, for me, I did get her to increase the budget ever so slightly, but the vehicle just required way more. And at the end of the day, what I should have done is said, we're not doing the exterior at all. The increase of the price is going to go to the interior. End of story. I shouldn't have even touched the exterior. It was covered in whirlies and leaves and crap all over the place. Took way too much time.
yeah,
Um, and even when they came to pick it up, it was a little uncomfortable because I reiterated to the wife, like, I appreciate the business. Last time, you were fighting me on the budget. This time you were fighting me on the budget, bringing me vehicles that really required more work. Moving forward, there will be no more basic maintenances.
mm,
Like, if the vehicle is in this condition, it is a full detail. The price is the price. Like, I had to lay down the law. And you could tell they were like, and I was like, I'm not going to be that person anymore. Like, where you could
yeah,
just be like, it was a good thing. And it was a good thing. But like, she was starting to take advantage.
yeah. You have a
Um,
business to run, so
yeah,
you
and
know,
I don't mind, like, I can understand, like, the previous car she brought to me was a Tesla. So, like, I know you're not necessarily hurting financially. Um, and I think even in that video, people were like, "You have a Tesla and you treat it like that?" Like, it was just like one of those things. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's really challenging sometimes when they've got that limited budget, and that's where timers, I think, really help understanding how much you charge an hour. So I typically am 75 to $90 an hour. If I'm doing paint correction, ceramic coatings, we're $150 an hour. I don't always get that, but that's my goal.
yeah,
And if I can pace myself with those timers, being ADHD, I'm motivated by pressure, adrenaline. So if I like 3 hours, I know I got 3 hours. I'm gonna break it up in my mind and try to do it that way. And then if we just can't physically get it done, no matter what blowout tool I'm using or whatever hack I'm trying to get better results, then I call the customer and just say, all right, we've got to adjust the services that we're doing.
yeah.
I got to a point where I felt like, okay, even if she says we're done, I vacuumed it, it was better. But then she's like, oh, I really want the outside. Oh, and I'm like,
Ugh. I hear you. I
so yeah, those are the challenging ones. And that's just where, you got to make that decision. Are you going to be the good person and go above and beyond? I'd love to say that I'm going to get more business out of that, but I have a feeling, honestly, with that customer, she knew she wasn't going to get
mm,
discounted services any further, and she's going to find someone who can do it for cheaper, which is
yeah,
fine. I
yeah,
don't want that kind of customer.
yeah.
Like, go with God. Um, Mm,
I
and
hear you.
sometimes you just learn that. You just
Yeah,
get through the detail, and those aren't details that I show before and afters
yeah,
because I don't want my work on that. I will get it to a point where if they come back at me and I take a ton of pictures and I get documentation to prove this is what you paid for, because I had one person that he did that to me. He ordered a wash, clay, and wax, came back. He had a black Mercedes and brought it pristine. This is an exterior job. It's no, it's not interiors, but brought it pristine, said he wanted a wash, clay, and wax. And I'm like, what exactly am I doing to this? Like, Okay, so I took really immaculate pictures. I went above and beyond, did the wash, clean, wax. He came back and he goes, "Why are there still scratches in the paint?" And I said, "You asked for wash, clean, wax. You didn't ask for paint correction." "Well, isn't that what you do? Don't you buff the car?" And I said, "No, that's not included with this package." He left me a 1-star review because I didn't do the job. And I'm
Yeah,
like, that wasn't the job you
yeah,
so that's just where, make sure you're really thorough with communicating with the customer. So that way, if they come back and want to rip you new, and you could be like, I have photo, like,
yeah,
I don't want to show receipts, but that's not what you paid for. So those are the tricky things as a business owner.
yeah. I I kind of have to agree with Chris here. Is he says his OCD is so bad that he can't just do a light interior clean. He goes overboard, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like I don't. For me, there's not different packages in an interior because I can't just do a vacuum and wipe down the windows or wipe down the plastics. Like for me, I always have to do more, if that makes sense. So I totally resonate with that. Yeah, and
And
again,
that takes time. I mean, I still struggle with it. I'm not going to say I'm a pro at it because
yeah,
clearly I did that video. But for the most part, I know when I open up the door, it's not going to work.
yeah,
I think for me, typically, I would refuse the job if it was like really, really bad, and they said, "I just want a quick vacuum." That's not what I do here. You can go to Riptide, pay $13 for the brushes to wash your vehicle, get a free vacuum. That's what you want. You can go to S&C Recon down the road for $99. They're going to do everything, including touch up, repair, and rotary. That's what you want. That's not me. I think the situation for this last detail was I'd had such a slow winter that I was just like, I got to
yeah,
get some kind of work through the door, that I was like, oh God, any other time I'd be like, sorry, this isn't going to work. Come
yeah.
pick up your car. And I've
Yeah.
had those. I had one that the guy literally brought a vehicle with a jumper cable and a battery pack on his passenger seat because the battery was dead. And he goes, "Oh, you're going to have to jump it just to work on it."
Oh my
And
god.
I messaged him and said, "Please come pick up your car." Number 1, it's gonna be at least $400 for the interior because it was green on the inside from mildew.
Ew.
Number 2, I'm gonna have the doors open, the battery's gonna be drained even more. If I can't even start the vehicle to pull it into my garage, I can't do the job. Again, he left me a 1-star review. Wouldn't even like blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, the battery was dead. Like,
Yeah,
I
the
had no problem calling him and saying, "Come pick up your Corvette." It was fine.
yeah. Well, good for you because yeah, as I'm saying, some the expectations or the
Mhm.
audacity of some is quite crazy. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of all these questions, guys. If I've missed any, please keep dropping them. So I have some people asking about the Aqua Pro Vac.
Yeah.
Chris is saying when using the hot water Aqua Vac, or you always trigger spray water and have vac down vacuuming, or you ever just spray hot water without vacuuming? Okay.
Normally I'm not spraying water unless I'm extracting. And so the typical rule of thumb is, for every 1 wet pass, you're doing 2 dry passes.
Okay.
Um, I know Mighty, that's their standard. I'm literally just like spray, 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 but you're sucking up a good bit of water. And the great thing about the Aqua Pro Vac, it's 3 gallons of water that it can hold. And typically, I will suck up just as much, close, maybe not exact, but almost as much water as I'm putting out. So your fill and your empty, compartments are almost equal. And by the time I'm out of water here, I'm full of water here that I've sucked up. So you're pulling up a good bit of water.
Okay.
It's
And
not so strong that you can't actually use it because some suction is so strong that you're like, oh
yeah,
my God, I'm like fighting it.
you
It's
have to
not
fight
that.
it.
It's actually really comfortable to use. But
Okay.
yeah, I for the most part, I'm not just spraying water and not extracting. I want to lift that out. I don't want to just push water in.
Okay. Chingy actually has a question that I'm interested in knowing as well. Does the boiler stay hot when refilling, or do you have to let the water heat up all over again?
So the Aqua Provac is not a hot water extractor, but you can
Oh,
fill
it's
it up
not.
with hot water. You can fill it up with hot water. The thing that I didn't like about the Mighty when I had it, the fill compartment for it was literally this big. You could either
Okay.
connect it to a hose and fill it up that way, or you had this much of an opening to dump your water in. So for me to be able to get, like, I had to use a hose. I couldn't use, like, put hot water in a bucket and then put that in there because it would spill everywhere. So
Okay.
for me, and the Mighty does have the ability to make water hot, but if you, and with the Mighty, they intentionally say one spray with water, two sprays dry, to give the water, the hot water, element time to kind of keep the water hot. No one's doing that though. And I just found, like, after 30 seconds, I would get hot water initially, but after about 30 seconds, I pretty much had cold water. And you're just having to sit and kind of wait or take your time to let the hot water keep up with you. Whereas with the Aqua Pro Vac, and you don't need boiling hot water. You actually don't want that because hot water can, like, extremely hot water can set some stains. Tap water, hot water is all that you really need. And even John said that some of his chemicals, they work best with cold or warm water. So that was actually something new for me to learn. I don't necessarily need to be like tip it hot.
Yeah.
When we got a lot of like oily binders, things like that, yeah, hot water can break it down, but the chemical can also do that as well. But I've had no issues putting, as hot water as I can get from my tap into the Aqua Pro Vac, filling up, and I can just fill it up, put it in the thing, and I'm not spilling it. Easy peasy.
Okay.
And it doesn't damage any of the water lines to have hot water running through it either.
Okay. And see, that's shows you how much I know because I didn't know it was a cold water
Yeah.
vac. But
And I mean, you want a hot water extractor, your price is going to go way up. And I
yeah,
know Aqua Provac, they don't publish it as hot water. Like, even in their instructions, I want to think they recommend cold water because, again, they're going to try to go the safest route possible. I've been using like hot water in that for years, no issues.
no issues.
The
Okay.
only issue with hot water sometimes is that your clear sprayer head will get cloudy over time.
Okay.
But some of that's chemicals too.
Okay. Um, we have Nate here. As I start my detail shop this month, do you recommend an expensive extractor? So I think you've kind of touched on this, really, like a Mighty, middle of the road Aquavac, low cost rip clean attachment, or skip it starting out? So what would be
Hmm.
your suggestion on that? Beginning.
It depends on what you want to do. It depends on your budget. The Rip Clean is a really great entry level extractor, but it's going to be limited by cold water only. And again, you want to make sure you have a really good wet dry vac that has at least 5 horsepower, and just really good lift. Um, and with the Rip Clean, you have endless amounts of water, so you do want a larger capacity wet dry vac, at least 5 gallons, just so that way you're not like constantly. If you got like one of these little shop vac thing, you're gonna
Yeah.
constantly be emptying it because you got your hose and you just got endless amounts of water.
Yeah.
Um, and again, you want to make sure you're using chemicals that are going to work well with cold water. Not all chemicals are going to work best with cold water. You could use Rocket Revive It, Omega Citrus with that, no problem. So it really depends on the scenario. For me personally, if you have it in your budget and can do Aqua Provac, that's all I've needed. Uh, I sold my $1,200 Mighty, and I've been using the Aqua Provac for over 5 years, and it has paid for it. It'll pay for itself after two details.
Yeah.
I typically, like, for an interior detail for a sedan, I start at 275, and I go up to about 325 for trucks and large SUVs. And then if we have excess soiling, typically I charge $40 a row for pet hair or for sand. So I can make easily, bad interiors, 500, $600. You pay for your extractor with one interior.
Okay. Uh, Jelena is asking, do you believe in interior ceramic or conditioned leather protecting fabrics? What do you think
Good
about
question. I personally do. When I was at the Creator Summit, I got to sit at the feet of Ram, who owns Geist. He's an extremely intelligent leather specialist. Geist makes some really great products. But we all know leather has a clear coat. I personally do not believe that modern day leather benefits from conditioners unless we get to a point where they are starting to get older, cracked, and faded, where the clear coat is maybe compromised. But then even then, I would say get it repainted, sprayed, things like that. I don't necessarily like leather coatings in the traditional sense that we see in the glass bottles, because when we're done, and I've said this before, when we're done with a ceramic coating on paint, we can polish it off and reapply it. But can we polish off a coating off of a leather seat? I wouldn't necessarily run that risk, because you could, I mean, you could burn through the clear and the color and you've damaged the seat. I know some people will polish leather seats to clean them. Personally, there's way too much damage that you could do with the backing plate or from heat. So I prefer to just take a more cautious route. I do like interior ceramics that are sprayable, like DIYs. Geist even has a version of that. I want to think, and a lot of companies are coming out with interior ceramics. I want to think Duraslick has one. Um, a few other companies, but maybe a 6 to 12 month maintenance product for the backs of seats, for the areas that aren't getting a lot of high touch, that could last 12 plus months. But what I like about them is they wear more naturally. Leather coatings in a glass bottle, my issue with them is that when they start to break down, as we go in and out of the seat, or maybe we're cleaning it, I have seen it on customers' vehicles, maybe a year and a half, 2 years after I've applied the leather coating. You'll actually, where the applicator was, if we were using like a thin one, on the very outsides where it was kind of the thinnest, you'll
Oh,
start to see like a little line of where it's thin and it's kind of broken down. And I don't like that. I can't remove that. Maybe we could layer it, but for me personally, if a customer says, I don't want to, reapply it, now I kind of got this zigzag, like, stripe thing going on. I don't like that. So for me, the interior ceramics, they may not last as long, but they wear more naturally. And I can just reapply, no issue. And I can charge $50 for a 6 to 12 month ceramic sealant. I can apply it just as quickly as a leather conditioner, but it's going to protect the seats way better than a leather conditioner. Conditioners really don't get absorbed. They
yeah.
just kind of make the seat
Yeah.
streaky. You sit on it, you're going to have like a butt print in the seat. You can have this beautiful, clean, non glossy seat, and then you put a conditioner over, and it's like, man, what? It doesn't look. So for me, the leather sealants, they keep it that nice new, factory look. But then we do have UV protection. We do have some hydrophobics. We do have some sunscreen and blue jean protection. So, and you can tell customers, wipe it down with rinseless wash, or a little bit of soap and water. You're good to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Um, how much? Oh, sorry. I need to unstar these because I'm seeing double here. Here we go. How much is too much scrubbing a steering wheel to avoid the, oh no, that was too much?
I mean, if it's come to you already in a deteriorated state, that's one
Yeah.
thing. When before you even touch it, if you're seeing brown, or color has worn through, that's where I'm just going to use a microfiber and just kind of go over it.
Yeah.
If it's a newer vehicle, it depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to Andreas Fortender, he would say, don't do any of these.
I was just
I take a scrub
thinking
ninja
that.
and I do a little wheelie action,
Yeah.
and I go over it. He would say that's too aggressive. You've already damaged it. If you're starting to see color transfer on your pad, abort,
Yeah. Stop.
stop. Yeah, that could be dirt, but it could also be color. So that's where, when I start to see that, either that dark color transfer, and I mean, if it's black leather, it's 50-50, you don't know. I do definitely take a more cautious route when cleaning. I'm just going to use a microfiber, spraying the cleaner and just gently going over it. I at least want to improve the look. If damage has already occurred, I'm not looking to make it exaggeratively more, but I gotta remove the dirt. I respect Andreas. He definitely is someone who prefers extreme caution when it comes to leather. But there are times that he'll say, if we're using any aggressive cleaners, oh, just re-dye it. And I'm like, not every customer can afford to re-dye their leather
Yeah.
every time they get, like, because he'll say, oh, no magic erasers, no scrub ninjas. Well, definitely magic erasers, I would not.
Little
Um,
awesome.
I used to use them a lot when I first started detailing, and then I quickly learned not to. The Scrub Ninja is perfect. You shouldn't
Yeah,
need a magic
yeah,
eraser.
yeah,
Um, but the Scrub Ninja, it can be a little aggressive, but you're not going to town.
yeah,
You're not sitting there torquing
yeah.
on it. So,
Well, and like I used to use, or I started using, not recently, but when they first came out, was lithium's cubes, until I
mhm.
realized that those are really the same as magic erasers. It has the same kind of substance in them. So I started thinking maybe I'm used, they work really well. But started thinking that that might not be, you know,
Yeah,
I might be going to town more than I should be with those.
it's
But
5,000 grit sandpaper essentially.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Um, let's see. How did you discover Bonnet Pro?
I used them when I was with Lancaster Bible College. We use them for carpet cleaning, and so I just kind of brought them with me.
Yeah.
We had to do a lot of bonnet cleaning because when we're dealing with college campuses, dormitories, classrooms, we have to have quick turnover. So bonnet cleaning is ideal in those situations because you don't have dry time. You can turn it over in 30, 45 minutes. You don't have to deal with, all of that. So we did a lot of end cap cleaning at the college that I went to. And that's where I kind of was introduced with that technology. And
Okay.
they are honestly one of the best when it comes to bonnet cleaning and end caps. So once I kind of learned that they could be used for extraction as well, I was like, okay, this just is natural.
Yeah. It'll work.
And I will say this, Bonnet Pro, they do have that portal now for their liquid highway, but for those of you that want to try it out, they also have a sample pack where you can get like one full
Oh,
size
nice.
gallon and then two smaller bottles. I think it's like $43. You can get it only one time. It's like
Okay.
limit one per customer, but it's a great introductory way to try out their products. You can see which ones they offer and which ones you're gonna, benefit from the most because they have maybe their waste away urine remover, maybe a gum and grease and ink cleaner. So,
Mm,
based on the key to the lock that you're needing to focus on. But that's just a great way to get an affordable entry into them because I think a gallon of them typically is about $43. So you
okay.
get two other products to test as well. It's a nice way.
That's a good deal. I actually appreciate when companies, and not a lot of companies do, but when they do sample sizes.
Yeah, you
So
get you get a
that's
full
good
size gallon with that. They offer you like you could pick like Rocket Revive It or Omega Citrus, and I think maybe one other product that as a full size gallon,
and
and
then
then
do
get two smaller ones.
samples.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um, let's see. Ooh, leather cleaner, what is your go-to?
I do like Vonix Higi Kororo. That's a really good one. I do
Wait,
like Typhon.
wait, say that again. What was the first one? I didn't hear that.
Uh,
Vonix?
Vonix
Vonix.
Vonix Higikoro, they're a Brazilian company.
Yes.
Um, they work really well. Typhon works really well on leather. Yum Interior is a great interior cleaner. Um, McKee's 37, they have a 70/30 leather shampoo that works really well. If we got like serious soiling and the leather is in good condition, meaning no damage to the clear coat, Superior Products leather cleaner, but it is a pH of 13.
Mm,
It's like
gotcha.
gasoline on leather. So you probably are doing a lot of bit of damage to the clear coat, but it will literally melt dirt off of
Mhm.
leather quickly. So in situations where I got like a disaster detail
Yeah,
and I just like some people we're spending way too much time and then we're being aggressive with our cleaner like our tool. I've had one that it was black with like sunscreen all over it and we know sunscreen can just be a bugger sometimes. It
yeah,
literally just wipes off like water and it's like it's fun. But yeah, you got to use caution and use gloves with that. Yes, I'm telling you to use gloves with Superior Products leather cleaner. Proceed with caution.
yeah,
I've never really tested around with diluting it, and I should, because it's a ready to use product. And I wonder if I could make it like just a hair safer if I were to
No,
dilute it, even cut it 1 to 1. But my gosh, it's so cheap and it works so
I
freaking
get
good on leather.
it.
But if you see any signs of color transfer or clear coat damage prior to cleaning with that, do not use it. It will remove dye.
Mm,
If a leather seat has been re-dyed, even if you're like, oh, I didn't know, you will know after that because it takes all that paint right off. So legit, only good condition, like clear coat's intact, but really dirty. If
okay,
it's light maintenance, you don't need it. Like go with any of the other ones I said.
yeah. What type of Bonnet Pro to use for a pre-spray and then use my extractor? I'm using Flex Citrus, which works great, but would like another chemical.
Um, So typically I'm using either Omega Citrus or Rocket Revive It, and I don't need to neutralize with those because they are basically neutral. They're like 7.5 to 8. Actually, no, they're slightly acidic. They're 6.5 to 7.5. In fact, the reason John designs a lot of his products to be like lower on the pH scale is that most commercial carpets, he explained it, and you might have saw this in the video, but most commercial carpets come with a carpet protector already on it. And if you use anything higher than 9.8 on the pH scale, it can damage the protector. So he's designed a majority of his products to be lower on the pH scale to not damage that protector that's on
Mm,
most commercial carpets. So Rocket Revive It, Omega Citrus, you do not need to neutralize. So I can pre-spray. I don't need Flex Ice. I can just pre-treat, agitate, rinse with cold water alone, done. If you have really, really strong dirt, heavy dirt, you could try red lava and then you could use their acid lava rinse, or you could even use their rocket rapid remover. Do I have it here? Somewhere up there. But we did a video on it on my channel where we used the red lava and then he had his radical rinse. It's a slightly higher pH, but less, alkaline than red lava. But that's what I would use. But typically pre-sprays is just cleaning it with my cleaner, agitate, extract.
okay. Whew. I
I'm
really
hitting you with a lot. You're probably
I'm
like, "La,
really
la, la."
taking notes right now. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this so that, no, I really appreciate this. This is actually fantastic.
How
Um,
many are even watching? Is it like 3?
no, we're at 71. We were at 88, almost 90 for a minute. So yeah.
Not
Um,
boring you guys too much,
no,
hopefully.
I'm
You're
telling
all
you,
starting to get a little cross-eyed.
I'm about to go down a rabbit hole. So I'm literally taking this all in. What product do you recommend for removing red stains from carpet or fabric?
So again, this is one of those things that John said, you might not need it all the time, but they do make a red carpet remover. You can also pick up on Amazon. It's called Red One. And typically with those products, you have a unique approach. So what you would need to do, you spray your chemical onto the red dye stain, white terry towel, put that on top of what you just sprayed with your chemical, and then you're going to use steam, either from a steam cleaner, an iron, curling iron, typically like an iron, and you're going to actually use heat to transfer the red from the carpet to the terry towel. Make sure it's a white terry towel. Terry works better than microfiber in that situation, but you're actually transferring through heat the stain onto your towel. But
Okay.
red one from Amazon,
Red One,
or
Amazon.
you can go. Bonnet Pro has one. I think I actually just ordered it. Let me see if I have it in here.
Okay.
Yep, right here. So it's called Bye Bye Red Dye. So
Oh, okay.
that's their product that they have. And if you get their sample kit, this can be one of the products that you get with the sample kit.
Nice. Okay.
You don't need it often. I maybe twice in my entire career needed to like remove Kool-Aid or something like that. But if you can't get it out, it's disappointing. And when you can get it out, it's like, yeah,
I
I
love
did
it.
that.
I did that. Yes. Chelsea, what are the first steps or so I would need to take to start a successful home detailing business?
Huh. Um, I actually did a video on this a while back ago on my channel. So if you want like a closer look, um, it definitely looks in my library. But first steps, obviously, there needs to be a need. Um, that's going to be hard. So the way that I did it is I went onto the Nextdoor app, which is like a online bulletin board for neighbors, for communities, things like that. And so I put together an idea of prices and packages, and this is where those are going to be very fluid. They're going to change. I was $75 for my first car, and it took one car for me to realize I need to increase my prices. I literally did a full detail for $75 one time, inside and out. I was exhausted. I think it took me 6 hours, and I was like, I made like less than minimum wage on this thing by the time taxes and tools and everything. And I think bought way more products than I even it took a few details for me to actually pay back myself for all the chemicals and tools that I bought first. But once you figure out tools, chemicals, basis, the basics of what you need, figure out prices, packages, put your information out on something like that. And then if you actually start to see people interested in your services, I would say if you get more than 4 vehicles in a month, that's where you're now a professional detailer.
Mhm.
If you're doing one car on a weekend, maybe family and friends, I don't know. But if you're getting paid and you're getting more than 4 details a month, that's where I would say now it's time to start looking into insurance. That's where it's time to start getting a business checking account, business cards, maybe.
Yeah.
Work your way up to a t-shirt, something to look professional. And that's where you really just start refining your processes and your products, figuring out what works. You're going to be a sponge. You're going to be absorbing a lot of stuff online. And that's where I would encourage you try to refrain from being influenced by people like me and
Yeah.
buying everything, because then you're going to need to start a YouTube channel to do product reviews to show all the products that you just bought, because that's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's gonna
had
be
I
expensive.
my garage looked exactly like yours, Christy, but I had a carport. I didn't even have a garage, and I had bins and bins and bins of chemicals that I had to take up and down my steps all the time because I
Yeah.
didn't have anywhere to store them. And so that's where we when you become passionate about detailing and you go down the rabbit trail, it's really hard to not look for, is that better? Is that better? And so that's where I would say use something up, then buy something.
Well, and just FYI, Chelsea, my garage looks much better. I have done some deep cleanses.
You are
So
lucky to have people like Jeff in your
yeah,
life.
yes. And I can say that it's still looking pretty darn organized. I am quite proud of myself. I just
I
to put it
I've
out.
gone through a season where a lot of companies have sent me stuff, and I hate throwing things away. Like I
Right.
live in Pennsylvania Dutch area where we are not wasteful. So it is really hard for me to use a product once and then be like, "Oh, we're done with it." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I'll find a use for it." And
Yeah.
now I have $3,000 worth of new age cabinets just to hide everything, and it's
Yeah.
fine. It's
I
fine.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine, but it's not fine. Sounds like that's my
I just
son.
donate them to Aaron every November.
There
He
you
comes and
go.
he's like, "What can I take?" And I'm like, "Just help me. Just take it."
Um,
Oh,
we have William, a few more questions and then we are done. So, when you first started out, did you find that other detailers in your area were reluctant to provide some mentorship?
yes. Still find that hard. There's not a lot of support for other detailers. There's a detailer that lives at the end of my street, and I would love to have like civil conversations with them. One time I was using a brand called Lat 26 years ago. They're really big in like the marine vein of detailing. But they were trying to kind of break into auto detailing. So they sent a bunch of young influencers like myself free products. And so I saw they had a sticker on their car. I was like, "Oh, Lat 26." I was like, "That's not a common brand." And they were like, you were dead to me. And I've tried a few times, like they'll be detailing cars in their driveway and I'll try to make conversation and it's just like,
Yeah.
and I know they know I have a YouTube channel and I know they see me doing cars and you would think that that would have some sort of, you know, support. It's not rivalry. I mean, there's more than enough cars to go around. I've referred customers to them when I'm busy. But yeah, there's not a lot of support I find. I am in an area that's flooded with detailers.
Yeah.
Flooded. Um, I
Me
get
too.
a lot of people asking me for help, asking me if I'm hiring, asking me for advice, but I don't really see them providing. I've gotten more mentorship from strangers online than I have from people that live in my community, unfortunately.
Mm.
But that's where you really have to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
Eddie and Jamie and Ivan and Pan and all of those guys, they have been amazing mentors to me. Even following people like Jonathan Michael Munson, like I'm really trying to focus on growing the business side of my skills. And
Yeah.
he is so, so amazing at sharing information. Mark Barger. Just find the people that you want to become like. Like they have taken a home-based detailing business and grown it to a successful shop. I don't necessarily have those goals. I don't want a shop. I don't want employees. I just want to be able to provide for my family, do something that I love. And, I don't know if this is something I'll do till I'm 65.
Yeah.
Um, God has opened doors, God has closed doors as he see fits. But yeah, I mean the mentorship side of it, that's the great thing about the online communities that we're a part of is that you can find, but just make sure you're following the right people. There's a lot of bad advice out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to touch it back on something that you said earlier, I never thought about posting on the neighborhood app services and whatnot. So that a light bulb just went off in my head when you said that. Thank you for that, because
Yeah.
what a great way to put your name out there, at least just, in your neighborhood, in
Yeah.
your area.
And
Thank you.
what's great is like, I mean, I was voted the next door app's most popular detailer in Lancaster for like three
Nice.
years. So
Nice.
like
That's
they'll
amazing.
normally send you like a little placard that you can put on your
Yeah.
window or something like that. And
Yeah.
that does go a long way with like your websites and things like that with community people.
Yeah. Chris is saying, say the word and you'll have 100 detailers at your door waiting for your neighbor to say something bad. I agree.
We're
We'll
not a
flag that.
gang. We don't do that, guys. We're not the Sharks and the Jets out here.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
I'm gonna still keep chipping away, but they also do have a really big aggressive dog, and I don't like dogs, so I'm just like, cool, see you later.
bye. A
Yeah.
couple more
I mean, I like
questions
dogs, but
for
their
you.
dog scares me. Anyways.
Are you good with a few more questions?
Yeah, yeah, keep
Okay.
going.
All right. So we have, what is it like running your business out of your house? Do you feel safe?
Very. My husband wishes we had a dog to keep me a little bit more safe because when I'm vacuuming and I'm hyper focusing, I don't hear anything around me.
And your back is
Um,
too.
Yeah, but that's why I'm not mobile. That's intentionally why I'm not mobile. That very reason, because I do not like my kids will come home from school and they're standing on the other side of the car while I'm back and be like, "Mom, mom," and I'm like, "Oh my god." Um, so no, I have a very I have great neighbors. We live in a great community. They are very supportive of me doing what I do here at my house. They're always watching out for me. We have cameras, so I mean, I've never once not felt safe. There have been a few times that people just drive by, like wanting a detail that time, and I'm just like, no. That's the only time that it gets uncomfortable
Yeah.
is like when people just drive up and expect you to do their car like on the spot. And the only other issue that can sometimes, you know, pop up is if they want to wait for their car. I don't have a waiting area. I have
Mhm.
one customer that I allow
Yeah.
to sit and watch because he is a huge follower of me, Walla Moose. You guys might have seen him on my channel. I think he's more into detailing than I am,
Yeah.
and like he meticulously takes care of his forester. So he'll come, and half the time he's bringing me something for free, and he's just shitting. He's like, "What do you think about this product? What do you think about that product?" So he's the only one that I really. Are you there? Did I lose you? I can't be in the show by myself, guys, because I can't see anything.
Sorry, I don't know what just happened. That was weird.
I was like, I can't be alone. I don't know. I can't
That
do
was
any
so
of
odd. All of a sudden, I was out. That was so weird. I'm like, no, what just happened?
I was like, no,
Oh
that
my
happened to me
God,
on my
that's
show, not
crazy.
again.
Goodness gracious. I
At least I
swear.
didn't freeze like I did on my channel one time. I was like, what I did?
Goodness gracious. Okay. Conway is
So,
asking, have you ever used Smart Fabric AB? I think that's G-Technic for protecting fabric seats or carpet stuff is
um,
crazy. Is that G-Technic? I think that is, right?
yeah, I use their leather guard. I didn't use their smart fabric. I used to use IGL, had a fabric
Oh,
protector.
okay.
But now I will switch over. John blessed me with a big old she go again. I'm just going to keep talking. John blessed me with a giant bottle of their protector. They have a solvent based protector and then a water based protector. So that's what I will use.
Okay.
Bonnet Pro actually has one that is legit like a carpet protector. And we did a demo on that video together. And it was just like beating right off of it. So
Mm,
it's not a strong smell, even though it's a solvent. And so I like that.
okay. I just got kicked out again, so we might
I
have
don't know.
to,
I just kept talking.
yeah,
We're just
we
gonna
might have to finish. My Wi-Fi has been doing the weirdest things
next time
to
it
me.
happens, I'm taking over.
Just
Who
you
knows
go
what's
and
gonna
tell me.
come
You know what to do. You know what to do. Oh, look at this. Conway. Oh my God, Conway. This man is just, God, he's amazing. Christy, want to do a giveaway? Luminous Blanc and Yum Interior. Conway, do you want to do a giveaway? I'll be
I didn't
honest with
hear a
you.
question mark on that. You said it like a question, but he had a period there.
I'll do a giveaway, but I have to wait till the first. I just got back from vacation and I'm broke. I can't do a giveaway, but and Conway,
It sounds like Conway wants to do the
this
giveaway.
guy is so willing to do a Conway, a Conway. I should start calling it a Conway. Look, that I just named it. It's a Conway. But he is always so willing
Conaway.
to do giveaways. I appreciate him so much. He just says, "Let's do it." Okay, so we will do a giveaway. For he said, what was that? Yum Interior and
Blanc
Blanc.
and Yum Interior.
Yes. Have you tried Blanc, by the way?
Is that their
Luminous?
glass cleaner?
No, that's their interior. Their
No, I
glass
haven't.
cleaner is Shine
Yeah,
Blanc. It's really good.
I haven't tried Blanc.
Yeah, he is crazy generous. It is
I don't
different.
have it limitless funds either. So unless Eddie and Jamie are sending it to me for free, I don't get things nowadays.
Yeah, I might as well just give them my paycheck because that's how I feel most of the time. It's so bad. Okay.
I finally just got the 5 liter of Yum Citrus. I've only been waiting a year.
Oh God, Yum Citrus is so good. Have you used it?
I'm switching from Dark Fury to that.
It's good.
Gasp.
Yeah,
Gasp.
okay, so that's how you know it's good because you are
Yeah.
Dark Fury queen over here. So again, that Nick should be very pleased hearing
Honored.
that.
Like the fact
Very
that I
honored.
am giving up Dark Fury for Yum Citrus.
That's
Like
amazing.
maybe my toes will thank me when I'm washing cars in flip flops, though.
Look, enthusiast says, not the Dark Fury.
I
You
know.
know? Yeah, that's amazing. Let's see. Chris is saying, what about the homeowner units like Bissell, which you kind of touched on? Can you get the
Mhm.
job done if you follow with a wet, dry vac with more power?
For sure, it just takes longer. You know, you've got a shorter capacity for water output and input, a shorter hose. You're gonna have limitations, so you know you can get the job done. I think Detail Geek, which is the largest
That's what he
YouTube
uses.
detailing channel, he uses that.
That's what he uses.
But
Yep.
clearly, he's not doing this like he might have one car for who knows how long.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and maybe he is sponsored by Bissell.
Yeah.
So um but you can get the job done. There
Yeah.
are times that I watch these videos that it's just painful to watch the slow amount of water as it's like being pulled out. I think for me the biggest issue is the sprayer head. You got like this little
Oh,
rounded
it's tiny.
yeah, mine's up there, or I'd pull it out.
Yeah,
I have one, and I use it
I
for
do too.
inside my house. If my kids
Yeah,
spill stuff that I don't have to lug my Aqua Pro vac, I can just like go.
yeah,
But it's this little thing, and it's rounded, and it's got these little stupid brushes on the back that do nothing.
yeah.
And like you're literally getting this much
I
water sucked out. So for me, if I'm going to be doing this professionally, I want something that's going to speed the process up. Time is money.
yeah,
The Bissell spot will get the job done. It's just going to slow you down.
yeah. And then Chris is asking, if you have a rip clean extractor with the rigid vac, would you spend money on the Aqua Pro? And I've actually been toying with this because I have the
Mhm.
rigid Pro vac, and I know a couple people who have that rip clean attachment. My and maybe I just don't understand the concept, but my issue is, and the way my brain sees it is, if I'm using the vacuum to vacuum, but then I'm also in between that detail switching it for that wet vac, and then I want to go back to the dry. How does that even work? I don't.
So the rip clean extractor, you connect that to your wet dry
Yes,
vac and your water line
to the rigid,
simultaneously. So you're
right?
spraying and you're drying
Oh, it's
simultaneously.
simultaneous. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um if you have a rip clean extractor with a rigid vac, would you spend the money on Aqua Pro Vac? I think honestly, for me, hot water is where I would say yes, I would,
Okay.
because
So it
there
is.
are times that
Okay.
hot water I'm going to get a better clean result. But if you're using, and also the condition of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So for the average vehicle, Rip Clean is gonna be fine. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great. They sent me one of their units. I enjoyed it. My son, who was 13 at the time, was able to use it and get good
Okay.
results. I mean, entry level. Um, and very comfortable, very well made. The extractor head is almost a mirror to the Aqua Pro Vac. For me, it's just about hot water to be
Mm,
able to have that extra cleaning punch that on really bad interiors I sometimes need. That's
okay.
really what it comes down to.
Okay.
And making sure you have an extractor that has, or, a wet dry back that
Capability.
has good lift.
Yeah. Okay. Conway, let's go ahead with the giveaway. And yes, Conway, we are still on for next week. Asking Conway wasn't able to come on the show a couple weeks ago. So yes, Conway, and I will get in touch with you. So let's do the giveaway. Now, Chelsea, you're gonna have to help me with this. This is the question. Conway, I believe, asked you early on what your top 4 to 5 interior products were. So if you were listening, this is for the Yum and the Luminous Blanc. Please drop in the comments one of those products that she spoke of. She talked about the 4 to 5 interior products. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me see. That came fast. So Phoenix, that was one of the products you named, correct? Typhon?
Typhon.
Yep.
Mhm.
So Tom, and look at familiar right under him, man. He had it written down.
He's like,
I
oh, Magic Omega Citrus, Pink
know, right?
Perfection, Typhon,
Oh, and it
Yum
came.
Interior.
I'm gonna have to tell you what familiar, like it came so quick too. Like you guys were neck and neck, but Phoenix is showing first on my screen here, Tom. So Tom, if you will please email me, it's on the screen right now at kaylintorres82@gmail.com. I will make sure to get those 2 interior cleaners to you. Thank you, you guys. Congratulations, man. That was quick. All right, Chelsea, we have been on for an hour and 30 minutes. And I have to tell you that this was, I don't even know. And I apologize. I was not in the chats tonight like I usually am. Like I'm usually, kind of interweaving the conversation a little more, but I was just so enthralled by the information that you laid down tonight. Just every time I listen to you, talk about interiors, I appreciate your expertise. I do. I really do appreciate it. You really do have a good grasp, on the interiors and what you're using. And I just, again, your knowledge does not go unnoticed. And somebody even said, and which I told you too, that they are really enjoying your long form, the content that you are putting out. You're doing great things on your channel. You are going to hit 50,000 before the end of the year. I just know
I'm
it.
hoping. I'm
I just,
hoping.
yeah,
I started like stupidly looking to see how many female detailing YouTube channels are out there. There's not
Not
many.
many.
There's not
Yeah,
many. There,
yeah,
I mean, Auto Carry HQ is the largest.
yeah.
Heather, she's got a phenomenal channel,
And she
and I
just
think I'm.
started another one. She has
Did
2
she?
channels now. Yeah,
Good for her.
yeah,
Good for her. But I last I checked, I could be wrong, but I was like number 2, and I was like, what? Like
yeah.
that's sad. We need to
But
get more women
yeah,
showing what they can do. We need to let these channels grow because I think women, honestly, we've got clearly a passion and a knack for these things, not just interiors, but I feel like that's where a lot of women feel maybe the strongest,
well, speak
like
for
that they
yourself,
lean.
Chelsea. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
just saying, the women that I've spoken to, they're more comfortable with interiors.
Yeah,
That's the natural way to start.
yeah,
Paint correction scares people a lot.
yeah,
Ceramic coatings intimidates people a lot. Interiors are just natural for everyone. Get a vacuum, wipe some stuff, get an old toothbrush, clean stuff. I know stereotypically women are not the best with keeping their cars clean, but I would love to see more, female YouTube channels out there. And I appreciate all the support. The Thor media channel has been a huge supporter, and I'm so appreciative of everyone showing me so much love. They're definitely very kind. I will say that.
yeah.
I see some of the comments in the guys' YouTube channels, and I'm like, "Good God, they're mean." Like, thanks, guys, for taking it easy on me.
Glossy Chris is asking if we are going to, or when is the next trio collab, Christy,
We have
Joanna?
to figure out what we want to do.
Yeah, we are definitely going to continue the battle of the brands. I will say, and I'm going to announce it on my channel, but I will say that at this point, Yum for Wheels and Tires is the winner thus far. But that was a great video. Definitely cannot go wrong with Quiver, Luminous, or Yum. And you know me, I love a wheel and tire. So
Yeah.
Chelsea, not so much, right?
I
Not
mean,
so
if
much.
there's one area of a vehicle I could totally skip, it's that.
Yeah. See, and I would do it all day. And I'd rather paint correct than vacuum. So that's where we're
No,
different.
I'd actually I'd rather vacuum than paint correct. I'll
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
I love me a good vacuum.
I can't. You were talking and again, I will let you go, I promise. But
You're fine. Keep going.
last thing, Chelsea, you were talking
Oh,
about
jeez.
and stuff earlier in Instagram. Just so you know, I would follow you. I would follow.
I see. That's the thing. Like, I
I would.
see people
I
like
think everybody
Gary.
would.
There's certain people, Jessica Tran, they're so good at
Yeah.
TikTok. And I feel like you have to have a unique personality, maybe a younger personality.
Um,
Um, I
don't
don't know.
sell yourself short. I think
I don't know.
I
I gotta figure out how to communicate on TikTok. I see Adam. Honestly, this is why I want to do TikTok. I see Adam
he's amazing.
motorbike after motorbike after ace, RC
Yeah,
cars and
yes.
bling
Or
around his neck, and I'm like,
yes,
that TikTok money hits different, man.
or
Like,
robot vacuum. And it was so funny. He posted the other day, like
seriously,
the first thing he said is, "I'm not trying to sell you a vacuum," and then proceeded to
bull
sell me a
crap.
vacuum because I'm like,
Well,
I
and
really feel like I need this thing.
between seeing all of the success that he's had with TikTok, and then also like TikTok Shop has some great products, but you
Yeah,
cannot link it unless you're at
yeah,
a like you cannot do TikTok Shop unless you're at 1,000 subscribers, and I'm
yeah,
at like 570. I've
yeah.
never given TikTok really the time of day. My kids were like, "You're doing TikTok now?" And I'm like, "Shut up. I can do it.
Leave
I
me
have almost
alone.
40,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like, give me some slack. I'm cool." Um,
Right? Yeah.
but I really would
That'd be
love
cool.
to, I don't always do these videos for affiliate commission, but that is really like the only benefit financially that we can get from this.
Yeah.
YouTube commission is not what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Clearly, TikTok money is where it's at.
I guess
Um,
so.
Adam.
Yeah.
But I purchased recently the Viking Plus wheel brush. It's
Okay,
phenomenal.
I want to purchase
I'd
it.
love to review it, but I
Um,
can't link it because it's a TikTok shop and my
mm,
channel isn't at 1,000. So I'm like, guys,
okay.
can we just get me to 1,000 so I can review
Yeah.
it and get affiliate
Yeah.
commission? Because I mean, go buy it. It's
Yeah.
great, but it's not going to benefit me to do, the video. And that's not why I do these videos, but
It
even
helps.
as business has been slow for me this winter, thank God I had YouTube because at least it was some supplemental income. But the algorithm has just completely tanked for me since December. It has been completely different. Had great momentum coming into it, and now I feel like I'm having to rebuild and reclimb that
Yeah.
mountain. So I'm
Okay.
diversifying. I'm trying to stay.
So Wes just said $14 is hard to beat for that brush. Where is it $14? Because when I saw it today on TikTok, it was 26.
Yeah, and I pay 26 for it, so I'm
Yeah.
mad if it's
So where is
$14.
it 14? Because I
See,
really do want that brush.
Viking Car Care has a blue wheel brush, which I
I
bought, and
Yeah,
it's not as good.
and they don't have the other
You
one
want to
online.
get the hybrid one.
Yeah.
The hybrid one is legit. Like I had when you have like narrow wheel spokes,
Yeah.
and you sometimes need the barrel blade. It got in there. Mind
Oh.
you, my shoes were soaked afterwards because it like evacuated all the water out of it. But it gets into the tightest wheel spokes so good. And it's a combination of plastic bristles and microfiber. So it holds a lot of soap,
Mm.
holds a lot of
Yeah.
cleaner, and it cleans really
Yeah.
well.
Well,
I
Wes
had
said it was 14 when he got it, and it's probably 26 now after Adam reviewed it.
Yeah, seriously, Adam.
Tell me what
Gotta
happened.
ruin it for all of us. But if you guys are on TikTok and you want to just help me get to 1,000 followers so I can actually sell anything on
Do
TikTok
it.
Shop,
Let's get
that would be
Chelsea.
appreciated.
Let's get Chelsea
I
to
don't care if I go
1,000.
past 1,000. I just want to be able to sell on TikTok Shop. And maybe I
Yeah.
don't need a motorbike. I just need to afford cereal for my son. He eats 3 bowls of cereal a day.
And
It's
cereal's
ridiculous.
expensive, man. Everything's
Everything is expensive.
expensive. I know. I was just gonna say that.
I mean,
Ross
I'm not
wants
in
to know,
California prices, so I don't know.
what's
They're
that?
probably like 3 times what they are here.
Does it
Yes,
splash
that
back into
brush,
you?
yes, it does, but not okay. So, all right, it's way over there. It's buried. I had an easy brush,
Like
like
the
the
detail factory.
yes,
Yeah.
I bought a new one, and it literally like sprays my face, and I hate it. I literally like used it twice, threw it across the garage. I was like, I like this. Like the old one was way better. I don't know what they did. Maybe I
Yeah.
haven't broken it in. I got the Viking Plus car care brush, and it will gush, but it's not like splattering me.
Mm.
It just goes on your feet. So you just have to kind of strategically hold your feet off to the side
And
when
not
you
wear don't wear flip-flops, maybe?
you know what?
Possibly?
No. No, I'm a Florida girl at heart. I'm always gonna wear Crocs or flip-flops. I mean, I had beautiful Adidas white sneakers when I did that, and it made them brown with mud. And I was like, if I had flip-flops, I could just
It
rinse
wouldn't
this off. It's
happen?
fine.
Okay,
It's
well,
fine.
I rest
The
my case.
damage has been done at this point,
I
guys.
digress.
Like, you cut me and Dark Fury's coming out of my blood. Like, it's Jesus is coming back soon. I
So
mean, I'm
it's
not gonna
okay.
like it's fine. Like, I will have a glorified body very soon. It's fine. We're not worrying about it. You guys can comment all you want for me to wear gloves.
That's
It's
funny.
one day we'll be in heaven and have a glorified body. It will not matter. It's fine. I might be there sooner than you guys because of chemical abuse, but it's fine. Between 5G radiation and spraying the clouds and
And everything else.
phones and the
Yeah.
food that we eat, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
And on that note,
They're like, we had to bring up the gloves. It's
actually, I think you brought up the gloves. I do have to say, I think that was
it's
you.
every video. People are coming for me. Every video. Ivan's like, Chelsea, wear your gloves. I'm like, that was a video from 2024. I didn't let go.
Leave it alone.
That was old me. New me. They don't make gloves for feet.
I did see gloves. You did have gloves on in one of
I'm
your
getting
recent
better. I
yeah,
am.
yeah,
I'm still
yeah,
gonna wear flip flops though. I'm
yeah.
not gonna wash a car.
Glenn says gloves for your feet. Could you imagine?
It's called flippers, and we're not doing that. Even when I have like socks and shoes, I wear sneakers. I still have wet feet at times. So I mean, at some point, chemicals getting on my socks, and then
Yeah,
it's just sitting on my skin. So that's safe too. We've lost all the numbers. It's like 2 people watching now. It's fine.
that's crazy. No, we're still at 62, but
Man, you guys have nothing better to
no,
do.
I'll be honest with you. I start work tomorrow, so I'm about to call it a night. We got to wrap it up, but it's been an hour and 45, and it has been my pleasure. So
It's always
again,
good to see you.
yes, you too. Thank you for coming on. Battle of the Brands will be back as soon as we figure out what we're doing next. We've had some talks.
Maybe they should give us suggestions. What do they want to see
There you go.
next?
There you go.
Give us some
Yes.
suggestions.
Give us
We did
suggestions.
interiors, we did tires and wheels, we did
Wash,
soap, like
play,
wash,
and
play, and wax.
yeah.
Wax.
Uh,
So I don't know what else we could do. Jelena recommended rinseless, but that'd be kind of
hard. Yeah. Maybe
hard
a
to
hybrid
control.
wash.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, we could get into ceramic
That's
coatings, but again, that's really hard to test.
hard. Polishing, best pre-wash.
Yeah, but I could have black GM paint,
That's true.
and
And
you
you're
could
right.
have
You're right.
Audi paint is completely different, you
Okay, we'll
know?
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Best
All right.
APC. I don't know. All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Chelsea. Thank you.
My pleasure. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thank you.